Amboke Union, Weu.
What no day? Can we are taking you? Landa, I got malo not here. Then you don't want your leg to come up with young.
Lan you aware?
The one you're doing, the boy, I got your malo not here.
Oh, you so asandi, Mele Jumla. Where
Good afternoon.
Wherever you are, we want to welcome you to a very special edition of Issues of Today, live from the Liberia People Radio Studio in Kingsville, Liberia. It's 5 o'clock p.m. in Liberia, and it's also 3 p.m. Eastern Standard. That's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States of America. So wherever you are, I want to say welcome to this very special edition of Issues of Today, live from Liberia Public Radio. My name is Mark. My colleague Calvin Gray will join me on today's presentation of Issues of Today, live from the studio here in Monrovia. Wherever you are watching us and listening to us on our online platform and also on our partner radio station, I want to welcome you to this very special edition of Issues of Today on Liberia Public Radio. So we're going to take a break. After this break, my colleague Calvin Gray will join me. Together, we're going to be talking about some of the national in our country, Liberia. So just keep tuned, keep listening, keep following Liberia Public Radio. Welcome back.
Amboke Union, Weu.
What no day?
Welcome back to Liberia Public Radio Television. My name is Mark. Wherever you are, this I want to say welcome. And this is where we discuss issues of national concern, issues that have to do with the growth and development of our country. Liberia, we discussed it right here from our studio in Monrovia. My colleague Calvin Gray, like I said, has joined me this hour from Studio B of Liberia Public Radio here in Monrovia. Calvin, it's a pleasure. Good afternoon from your end.
Good afternoon, Mark. Let me say good afternoon to our peace-loving people in Liberia and, of course, in the diaspora. I'd like to say good afternoon, and this is where we discuss issues of national concern.
So how has life been? If one may just ask you about life activities, how is it?
Well,
How's life?
it just, where we are, left, it just okay with us. We thank God for everything, Mark, if you wake up in the morning and receive new breath, you have to be thankful to God Almighty for giving you that strength, because it's not an easy thing to wake up with that, being with that exuberant strength. So it's something that you need to thank God for. Yeah.
I mean, it's very quite important in our society. And I mean, God is the holder of our life. Whatever we do, if God says today, you are going to go, your time is finished, right? Definitely you will go. No one will question his decision.
This is why we Christians, we have to be very, 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 sincere to God, because even for the food that we eat, is God who provides our food, even the water we drink. So there is nothing that we can do without God, Mark. So if we sit and say God is stand wholesome, and it's not a God of divinity, there are no other people who sit on the other side are not doing justice to God.
Yeah, definitely. So, but Kevin, there have been some issue of some training issue of national concern in our society. Like I mean, that we intend to talk about this hour on this special edition of Media Dialogue, Kevin. Um, to just talk about one of them, to just outline them, we just come to uh, detail of them. But currently in Liberia, the over 40 civil society groupings or advocates groups have written the president of Liberia, like George Manu, we are calling for the indictment of war crimes court in Liberia. According to them, this has been a bit long overdue uh, since the TRC report that recommended the establishment of the war crime court in Liberia. The presidents that have come, President both Salif and Dia, they haven't been able to implement the issue of war crimes code in Liberia. So this time around, this month, presidents, all leaders around the world will be going to the 75th UN General Assembly in New York. So they are using the occasion to call the president so that he can implement this issue of war crimes code in Liberia.
Yeah, Mark. You see, this war code in Liberia has been the trending issue that many Liberians and even those in the diaspora have been, discussing. All right, our country is noted for war. Okay, when I say noted for war,
Was once was was once noted for war. You can say our country is noted
all
for war.
right, you're correct. Liberia was one noted for war because we had of 40 years unrest, civil crisis, all right, in this country. And we had so many people who were involved into um, the hood battles, what we refer to as war in our common way, right? And war is something that we need to look at. It's not something that Liberians or even any other person will love, right?
But Kevin, what we're looking at is whether the current leader, yesterday, Dr. George Weah will implement this issue of war crimes court
Let's
establishment
take it back.
in Liberia.
Let me take you back to 2019. All right, when President Villa, right after he took office, 2 years after, 2019, President Villa submitted to the legislature. All right, this issue of a war crime court to be established in Liberia. Okay, and it was submitted to the Liberian legislature. A proposal seeking the honorable legislature to look into the matter to advise this government, on this issue about the establishment of or on the processes
Mm.
of worker code, to be established in Liberia. All right, and I can't say, whether to implement, this process, and it was submitted to the legislature. But Mike, many people will be feeling different when this cannot be implemented since 2019.
Mm.
All right.
The president spoke strongly on this when he went to the UN General Assembly last year, saying that Liberia under his administration will not be, I mean, there will be no level of impunity under his administration. He stated that unequivocally clear to the UN General Assembly. But since then, there have been no establishment of such code. So this time around, civil society organizations in Liberia, both reside in the U.S., they are calling the president to adhere to the code. I mean, to adhere to his promise to the UN General Assembly.
Yeah. One of the key components of the children reconciliation recommendation, Mark, is the establishment of work camp.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
And you cannot go, let you Mark, you can come to the Liberian people or you leave the studio and go outside and say, Madam, are going to issue or distribute, bed arrest. beginning anytime, or I will get you guys to with it.
Yeah.
But before this moment, or before my tenure, all right, while I said, the managing director or the general
Yeah.
of this institution, it's my duty to issue or to distribute within my facility those who are residing around that area here.
Mm.
Mike, if you keep to the public and you sell this to the people, all right, and the people whom you went to discuss with,
It's a
their
promise.
mind, all right,
Mm.
I've been set up that, oh yeah, Mark is coming anytime to give
Yeah,
advice.
to give us
So,
something.
so every time you pass, and you cannot greet these people anymore. Every time you pass, and you're not talking about rest, all right, anymore. It begins suspicious, all right. Something will sparkle. Somebody will say, "Well, what is happening?" We didn't tell Mark and or to issue us well, but he keep on waiting to say he was
Yeah,
going to
to
issue us
issue
something.
all right.
But now he's not even talking about this any longer. What is happening?
Mm.
It creates pandemonium among the citizens and even the trust, public trust. You lost whatever respect or confidence the person had in you, right?
Yeah,
I'm not
definitely.
saying that the person has lost his
The public confidence.
gratitude or whatever,
Yeah.
all right, or public trust, okay? The person still has the gavel in his hand. The mandate of the president is something is stronger than even what we expect from any other person. So those human rights groups that are coming up, mandating the president and all to fast track this establishment of World Bank Code. I think they are on the right, trajectory.
Mm.
And we need to see this because Mark, we can sit here and see people who participated in wars, crimes, economic crimes, sit there and they are controlling the seat of our countries, part of our country, and we
But
see them
Kevin,
they are not
people
being
have been Kevin, people have
all
been
right.
saying that
So
the reconciliation aspect of justice should take place rather than punishing people. This is going to create, going to open up all homes in our society.
this is the fear of others because if we continue to talk about man, I don't think the country will go today. The issue of worker code to be established in Liberia, man, I think it's going to help us because people who just said and committed crimes will not just see themselves going astray and
So
working with
there should be
impunity.
some level of
There should be some
punishment that
level
they
of
should bear.
punishment that people who face this act, all right,
Mm.
will come to the realization that they will know that what they did was
What
not
was
something
not?
that was in the interest of the Liberian people.
Yeah.
Okay, Liberians are disenchanted, man. Other people father die in the war. Other people look at somebody and kill them right in front of the children and chop somebody on the father neck. All right, somebody shot somebody on the very, right in front of his or her. Okay, the gun
So
is still there.
in order
So
for true justice to take place, there should be some level of punishment for those who committed some of the heinous
certainly,
crimes.
certainly, crimes that were committed should not be overlooked. All right, we should look into it and see how best we can speed up. This issue about welcome code to be established or the establishment of welcome code in our country.
Okay, Karen will come back to that topic. But meanwhile, in Liberia, thousands of health workers have gone on the go, calling on the president to pay. I mean, calling the government of Liberia to pay hazard payment and other benefits. If, according to them, if that uh, is not settled, they will continue to go on go. Yesterday, according to one Tama, who is the president of the National Health Workers Association of Liberia, he said in a meeting with the president has threatened them that if they don't return to work, they will be fired and then they're going to be replaced in line with the civil servant laws of Liberia. But in an interview today, when uh, the the Minister of Information, Culture Affairs, and Tourism, Language Nangbe, was contacted by one of the local stations here in Liberia. He slightly disagreed with Mr. Tapa's assertion that they were threatened by the president of Liberia that they will face dismissal if at all they don't return to work. And Kevin, we are making frantic effort
to get to some of our correspondence. But I've been following some of the issues that several countries across Liberia today, patients have been left over on Ketoto and they are not being attended to. In fact, we were just receiving another report here in most of our countries that the Redemption Hospital was only catering to pregnant women, just to ensure that they don't go through some level of complication. But it's a serious situation in our country today, Calvin. Health workers have gone on a go slow. This is not the first time. So Minister Namboya also stated that the government has agreed to make $2 million available for the settlement of hazard payments, including other benefits of their workers.
It's so sad, Mark. Look at the history of Liberia relative to health workers in our country. From 2006 up to present, we have had over 5,000 full-time or part-time, health workers.
Health workers.
Yeah, over 51% or 51 Liberian doctors, over 51 Liberian doctors, have doctors. I'm talking about to cater to the needs of those
healthcare practitioners.
All right, so it is not a good sign for our country, for people who cater into the life of others, Liberians who are ill.
Yeah, welfare is not
right?
being taken care of.
It's not yet been taken care of. I think it's so sad. We are calling the Liberian government now to take, speak the action into this the case, because it's not a good sign for us.
But the thing that this poses to our well-being is what I want for us to remember, because you remember people, those who are healthcare providers, they are very essential in the society. There are so many illnesses all around lingering. So if we go to the hospital already, this is going to be a double blow to our healthcare.
We don't want this. This is what we don't need, because every day you have females that are giving birth, all right, on a daily basis, all right. You have people who are sick on a daily basis. You have people who cannot cater to themselves, even people who treat themselves symptomatically, meaning if your head is burning and you just rush to the pharmacy, you
take something.
You take something.
It depends on the workers.
It depends on what doctor may have prescribed for you before you get it, but it's not good. All right, we don't want for people to be treating themselves symptomatically in this country, right? We want for people to go to the hospital for treatment, because if you went for treatment and do the testing, you will know what is happening within the system. So if health workers are not available to cater to the need, it's a threat. It's a death trap right there, because nobody knows what is happening to you in the system. So with this, we are calling on our government, our president, to speed up this. Where we can take money from, because our president said it wants anywhere that we think we can take, wherever the money will come from, to pay
anywhere for that matter, we should just find money.
We should just find money, right, to settle these, health, workers areas, so that we cannot have danger within the health sector that will create money, that will create problem for our citizens, that will create problem for our children, that will create problem for our mothers, our daughters, and who we believe in, as our family members, because health workers, they are sacrificing their life for others. So, Mark, it would be better for the government to look into this, because we believe strongly that the health workers, they are the most important people in our country. I don't care. If the security lab is not healthy, Mark,
security and
security
that
to
guard and protect
the labs and properties that we're talking about. So if the health workers are paid on time, if the health workers are certified, and they are working, making sure that everything is okay, man, I think our country will be stable in terms of our health, care and delivery system. All right, because we need to pay key attention to the health system. Key attention.
Yeah, technically. Liberia Public Radio, Mark Down, Calvin Gray, and Calvin Gray, we are here bringing you a very special edition of issues of today live from Monrovia. Wherever you are watching us, we want to say thanks for joining us. We are hoping to hear from some of our correspondents, if or they can join us, but also Mr. Francis Genso from our New England video studio, Well, our CEO, who is also the host of the forum, is expected to join us on this conversation tonight. This hour, wherever you are watching us, how be it, where it's the time, I mean, whatever time you're in, we want to say thank you ever so much for joining us. So that's it. We're going to take a quick break now to be right back on this edition of Issues of Today, live on LPR TV. So let's see what we can just take a brief hour here, Calvin. Then we come to our next topic, our next talking point. Our next talking point is the issue of corruption. A two-day anti-corruption conference kicked off in Monrovia, and so right after this break, we'll talk about it on this special edition of Issues of Today. Okay, this break. Sorry.
An bwa ke ou yon we ou.
Di bo nyon je de, ka we ati ke nyon ya. Zela da ya yok ma lo nyon te. Ya yo ta won yo le yo kwa po ya o yo.
Nan yon we
Di bo nyon je de, si bo de ya yok ma lo nyon te yo.
Oh, nyon so asan di ti. Men le dum la. We ole.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Watching us. Thank you for joining us. Yeah,
I
Radio. My name is Mark.
and of course, my colleague Calvin here is still here. So we are talking about several issues of national training. We are talking about it. The number of participators. If you look on the screen there, if you WhatsApp us, be part of this hour. Coming, let's talk about this hour. The issue of corruption is very much, can we say, key or genuine to the well-being of our society in Liberia, because without proper accountability, our growth and development will be stagnated, will be stalled. Having people have been saying that there should be some stronger measure or action taken on the issue of corruption in Liberia.
It really pings me a lot when people who we trusted to entrust them with a piece of job to do and to renege and they are any force to curtail or eradicate some of these quote unquote corruption allegation or stuff now. Corruption in our country is something that is very bad for us, all right. It's not a good sign for us as well.
Let's do some adjustment here. We have seen some terrible so let's just that adjustment here from the studio here. We get some echo as been told. So let's do this.
Have you heard the news? Well, worry no more. Carson's photo and video production has been providing elegant weddings, conventions, and birthday videographic for the Liberian communities since 2006, paying attention to detail and emotion throughout the day, and taking time in the editing process to create a unique video you will want to watch with family members, friends, and future generations, shooting quietly and professionally, and without distracting you or your guests is vital. For more information, please contact us at 484-786-3337 That's 484-786-3337, or we can also be reached at www.cousinphotovideoproduction.com. Please tell Cousin Photo and Video Production that Asheville the Giant Galway sent.
Okay, welcome back. Wherever you are, I want to say our sincere apologies for the echo. We are working on it to ensure that everything is perfect. Wherever you are, powering off. Sorry for that. Let's do another one here.
A life so beautifully lived deserves to be beautifully remembered. This is to announce the traditional wakekeeping and funeral service of the late Chief Craze Sarto, former General Town Chief of Crazen Clan and Chief Elder of Crazen Chiefdom of the Bison Statutory District, Grand G'day County, Republic of Liberia, who died on January 27, 2020 at his daughter resident in Thinker Village, surrounded by his children and grandchildren. The body of the late Chief Craze Sarto will be removed on December 15, 2020 at the Samuel Stryker Funeral Home in Sincor and will be taken to his daughter home in Thinkers Village for a night of wakekeeping. The body will then be taken to Duaji Town, Grand G'day County for 3 days of traditional wakekeeping. Funeral service will be on Saturday, December 19, 2020 at the Assembly of God Church in Duaji Town. The remains will be laid to rest at the family cemetery in Duaji Town. Repast follow at the family compound in Duaji Town. The traditional aspect of the late Chief Craze Sarto life celebration will be the Cron artists performing lives making their present felt will be the Watsiato of Claude Romy and Blade Mary, Poimile Group of the Ivory Coast, Sumu Club of the Ivory Coast, Cron International Artists Play Franco, Jefferson DK Nyangbe, Eric Duo, Chablo and Tour, Juice Sandy, Saba J, Festus D. Carr, Sea Levels and the gospel artist Ezekiel Wright. This announcement was signed by Nathaniel Cray, son of the deceased.
Ambake unyon weu.
Dibo nyonje ile, kawe atike nyonja. Zalanda ya yok malo nyote. Ya yo to won yo le yo kuma po ya o yo.
La nyon we.
Dibo nyonje ile, dibo ni ya yok malo nyote.
Oh, nyon so asan di ti, men le dum la. We ole.
Welcome back to Liberia Public Radio Special Edition of Issues of Today. Wherever you are watching us, I want to say thank you for joining us. Mark and Calvin Gray, we are here. Mark Brown and Calvin Gray, we are here together. We bringing you this very special edition of media of Issue of Today. Sorry again for the echo. I don't know how you say now from your end there. So you can just tell us, our technicians here are ensuring that everything is being sorted out. However, we say our sincere apology for the echo here from our end. We hope that everything is set up, is okay now. And Kevin, before we take the technical break, we were talking about the issue of the issue of corruption in Liberia is becoming so systemic now that every now and then, everywhere you go, before one do you or one does he or she own performance that's supposed to be performed, that person will be requesting for a kickback.
Yeah, I was. We were discussing before the break, but there was something that was just running through my mind. That Mark, we need to look at, take a survey, with other countries that we have visited, okay, I think we can follow the same pattern. There is no silver bullet for fighting corruption. That one thing we should understand. All right.
Okay.
We, including many countries, all right, have significantly made progress in combating corruption, and they're successful. They are very much successful. You understand? Other countries they have similar, very similar and ugly issues more than even worse than Liberia. You understand? But today they can come up with their country being stable with a system. All right.
Yeah. So
with a system.
It's a problem.
So, we need a solution. And what would be the solution? I can just list 3 issues. One, to end impunity. It's just simple math. It's somebody who work in your employer, all right, as an employee, man. And I don't want us to do this on a friendship basis. If we continue to do or spare people on a friendship basis, we will not move anywhere. Our country will not be safe from corruption. Because a madam steal, and I'm the general manager for this place, a madam steal, I should not take madam to be my brother, or I should not allow madam to come and talk to me. Oh yes, we're all madam, then I cannot leave, or I cannot run the institution. So madam cannot go. You have to show to the people that madam can leave, and with all madam, the system can still operate. All right. So effective law enforcement is essential. Effective law enforcement is essential. That will help to break corruption or to eradicate corruption from our system. All right. So if we end impunity on that matter, there are some circles that impunity people who corrupt or who carry on corruption, war with impunity with nothing, no fear. And there is no law on the board to have the people be penalized. But the issue is this: we can enforce and implement laws that will bring these people on board. We have laws on board for them. We only need to go back to the book, and re-emphasize on these laws that are written on the book that if somebody steal or if somebody carry on corruption, all right, let the person be jailed for so and so time. Let the person be penalized. Let the person go to this place for so and so amount of time. Now, when this happens, and that's still not the basic set of man, I don't think that the next person will be thinking to carry on corruption too. Reform public administration and financial management. Now, nobody will understand what I'm saying here, right? Reform focusing on improving financial management and strengthening the role of the laws that we have built. All right. If I have this law or strengthen this management, this managerial area, right? I should have a system auditing, have an auditing system.
We have institutions in Liberia that are involved with.
We should have auditing agencies. Where are they?
Integrated institutions in Liberia.
Where are they?
Corruption persists in our system.
So if we have auditing agencies within our country, what are they doing? What is the role they are playing? What is the role of the auditing agency? We have the GSC, right?
Yeah, GSC.
The General Auditing.
Today I listened to
agency.
The deputy or director general at GSC, Mr. Wesley Nyekan, saying that the fight against corruption it won't be futile when people who supposed to be supporting the fight. For example, when you just talk about system, many system not in place. As such, people who are coming to government appointees or presidential appointees, for example, don't know about the system. They will just come and burst into it. They want to do their own thing and bypassing the old system. This is one of the key reasons.
What I think the GSC should be doing now, because it's our auditing arm that we have in our country, right?
Yeah.
The GSC needs to promote and access information. We're talking about transparency, right?
Yeah.
You need to promote transparency and access information. How can we do this, man? We have a system now. Everything that we do in our country is republished. Okay? Like people who say we steal or we are not working, let them see what we are doing. So if we create this promote or accountability and access team, we can create the virtual people will be able to view what we are doing within the GSC, so people cannot see us as a dormant institution.
The GSC publishes and every other report that it does. So why are you still talking about the issue of transparency?
Some people may say
the end of the GSC.
Some people may say why others are corrupting and not publishing them. All right, that's a major issue. It's another aspect of it. While people who are involved into corrupt practices, they are not prosecuting them, they are not bringing them on board, they are not publishing them. That's one of the factors we should look at. So if somebody steal put into the same GSA and then they look at it now, okay, this is everybody who stole, who invested so and so money from so and so account at so and so time. Now, if these information are published on the GSA website and people are noticing them and people are going there to view them, I don't think the next person want to see their name on the GSA.
GSA does, like I said, GSA does publishes all of the reports. But the one key thing that the GSA official have been talking about is the issue of implementation of its audit reports. There have been dozens of reports, audit reports coming from the GSA, but the implementation of it has been so much poor. Even from the past administration to current administration, there have been a limited ability to prosecute corrupt officials, except for few who have been prosecuted.
It always be a problem. If we find out that certain group of people, are not working to the tax, we empower other citizens. You understand? And that can even strengthen citizens to even demand anti-corruption and empowering them to even work more. Now, you may not understand what I'm saying, but between citizens and other people, right, there are other citizens who say, oh yeah, if you give me this, see my handwork, see what I'm going to do in 5 months time or in 1 year time, look at my work and look at the past little work. All right, this should not be a one system. Go to the other party and select who can do the work. You understand? And see who else is capable of doing the work, so that if the person that you trusted are not capable enough to do the work, bring another citizen. It's not about time that we find a people or
can we allude this to the level of incompetency? Is it because of incompetency that we are facing some of what we're facing? Because
we just have to take another approach,
They are accounting experts and they are qualified. Some of them have a master's degree and bachelor in accounting. Yet and still, we keep facing a lot of corruption or corrupt activities continue to go. I remember some years back when the former Auditor General of Liberia, Mr. John Molu, said that the former president of the government, Salif administration, was 3 times corrupt as compared to the late Judy Bryant administration. And yet and still, we continue to observe the issue of corruption into our system. That's part of public condemnation of corruptibility in our society.
If we cannot do it as a group or as a government, we bring on board what we call community initiative. All right, the community monitoring initiative can be another part of the government, or let's say they put it in the public forms. All right, in the public area, right. Let's strategize a plan so that we can bring in another approach. Some we are not working, or some people are saying that we are not working. Let's open the bash or take this approach to the community or to the public. The public is a mark can determine who is a corrupt person or not. All right. So if we take the community initiated approach, it's going to work. Every day you listen to radio, people calling, people telling you who is this and who is that and who is there and who is that.
Again, you cannot just go automatically and prosecute because someone just say, oh yes, for example, Magdan is corrupt, you just go and prosecute me, for example. You have to go through the code of competent jurisdiction and follow the process. There are processes
we just have to
involve.
We just have to reduce leakages within our setting.
Is it because of the bureaucracy?
I don't want to look at our bureaucratic bottlenecks, whatever it is, but we need to close some international, loopholes, where people will think that only people who
our own law not be in conformity with the international protocol. In our country, they have their own set criteria.
Very well, that's what I'm saying. We Liberians, we need to start following our own laws. Therefore, we need to start implementing our own laws, before we can even follow international protocols.
Yeah.
All right. If we have our own basic things to look after, and we are not really keen to these issues, and we call on international people to come and fight for us, how are we going to identify the leakages with our system first? Because I can remember certain point in time, when our president was calling for FBI, to come in, carry on some investigation.
Yeah,
And all that stuff.
investigation.
All right. It was
Is
not
it the
timely.
current
Let me
administration?
see. It was not timely, right? We can look into our own, setting in our own, auditing agency and see who is wrong and see who's to you or who is not, the role or who should be, perpetrator, those perpetrators who committed act, we should not see them and we ignore them and then we bring people to pretend that we don't know what is happening.
I think the issue of corruption, fight against corruption in Liberia, it needs to be fought hands on because
The
the
issue
issue of
entirely
integrity, I take it to another level. The issue of integrity in Liberia is so much, it's not appreciated. People of high moral esteem and integrity, they are not celebrated in our society. From my own observation, people who are quote unquote corrupt, though not proven, but they are hardly celebrated in our society. I don't know other parts of African society, but few other countries that have traveled and worked there, for example, in Sierra Leone, when the current administration of Dr. Julius Malabio took off office some 2 years ago, the fight against corruption there was hands on. We saw the prosecution of former officials of government who were asked to restitute the money that they allegedly stole. I mean, some of them even admitted to committing some of the crimes that they were accused of, and they were asked to restitute. In a short time, some of them, their properties were seized. I don't know whether such practice could be translated to the Liberian setting. Could that? Do you think such idea, or let's just say way of fighting corruption will be possible in our society?
Well, it's another form that should be another means of fighting corruption. You are quite right, Mark, but they do help as well. But if you look at it on a broad perspective, some may say it may create a delay link, with our governing system where we have
our whole process is somehow full of pour and pull, as a result. Even some of the those who have been accused, they got order and they got expired. God forbid, some of them died and they are not with impunity. For example, the issue of war crimes code that we are talking about. Some of the perpetrators are now getting older, yet and still they are being celebrated, and impunity continuing in our society, Calvin.
it's a bad disease, and one of the way that we can also strengthen this is to find the best leader. All right, transparency and accountability leader. All right, if we have a transparency and a good leader who takes corruption, as the best enemy of a state, all right, you will have.
Does it need some level of leadership to be?
Certainly, Max. Certainly, if I was set the standard, then we have this system, right? Where if anybody steal government, properties, vehicles or whatever that belongs to them,
when you see it should be restituted.
I think we should not go back to the days where we had if you stole from government or if you are embezzle, all right, then they put you on firing squad. No, not what I'm saying, right? But we can implement another policy, all right, that will be similar to what we have in the old system. That if somebody does this, all right, the person penalty should be SYZ and so. We don't want to see themselves being hung up and be popular in all of the newspaper and taken to all of the radio station that SYZ is the one who committed this act, right? But there should be a standard.
We who are citizens too, we have some part to play because the issue of celebrating those who are quote unquote corrupt people it's another means of shielding them.
What do you
This
see?
is why I was there.
This is what we have. This is the disease we have. We have to cure the disease. If we cannot cure the disease, we continue to face the same problem. This is it. This is it. An old age, initiated. This is an old age embedded system that we cannot fight until we can start to fight these things. Now we will identify.
It has just become systemic because people will say if you go to the particular
now we want the country now you can just mention that when a person corruption they shield that person. We wanted the countries that they can step out and say that this is a country that somebody corrupt, that person will be celebrated.
But
alright,
in our
why can't we follow the same pattern? We should not celebrate people who corrupt. We should not shield people who corrupt. We should not keep them under a system, under the canopy that will keep them to be doing the wrong. Because even if you take them from the opponent to the next area, they still keep the same corrupt system there. So how can we fight for them to even be ahead of?
They are being suckled into our society, taking them from one place to another, and so forth.
It's killing.
It has just become so systemic into our system.
If you corrupt, you corrupt. If you steal, you steal. They should not replace you from one point to another, because what is within you is within you. Your talks, are normal talks. That one thing you should understand. If you can steal, you can steal. I don't want to use the word corrupt. If you can steal, you can steal. When you leave from this one, they carry you from the place, when they take it from there, they carry you to the next store. When you can see, for the fact that you see money all the time, you will still carry on corrupt attitude there. All right. If you're somebody that can even cheat on your wife, you say partisan corruption. So this issue about corruption, we have to look at it holistically. That's the only way we're going to fight corruption. Until we can identify what has lost within our system, and then we can identify corruption.
For me, one thing I'll talk about is the issue of integrity. It seems that integrity is no longer celebrated. The issue of integrity, it doesn't matter, but whenever one is accused, though you are presumed innocent until proven beyond all reasonable doubt, but for example, if someone is accused and let the person maybe recuse himself from his or her current position, step aside and follow the process. I think, for example, I'm just forgetting about this, a country where the official, the head of the tourism board broke a curfew rule, and he who is the head of that country's tourism activities, he broke the rule by going on holiday, by visiting, and then it was brought into the public. That particular official of the country that I'm talking about was made to resign, or was made to step aside. He himself even came and said, yes, I feel I did wrong, my people, so I cannot continue to steer the wheel now. But in our country, carving is a different thing. It's a different thing, really.
Just to say this to those of you listening in the diaspora and our fellow Liberians, this is a system or a bad disease that threatens the well-being of our country, all right, our society, because it enrolls so many bad things in the minds of our people. Okay, and if we have a system, Mark, that is corrupt, today I want to say openly that it is time that we come up with this society, because it is a system that we are depending on. If we have any agency, that the GSC, I think they need to work now, all right? Because people who are corrupt in our society, they cannot be trusted. Their work cannot be overemphasized. People look at them as the bad ones in the government. All right, the formation of education has thwarted into a way that even if a good leader was coming, can have another perception of even working within our system. You have you not heard about somebody talking about how can I work with this system? And if the system still needs the old system, if the people within the system still needs the old system, how can I work with this system? If I come here to rescue or do something to somebody here, let me put it in the common way, right? To bring people on board. Somebody will come up to tell me, Calvin, if you cannot work that day, then you have to leave. So with my expertise that I'm coming with what I know and those who know the work that I'm bringing on board, with the little knowledge that I have, if I try to implement this policy, man, then somebody telling me if you cannot do it this way, then you have to do it. How can we do the work? How can corruption end with this system?
Unfortunately,
I just want to.
Calvin, unfortunately, in our country, it has become systemic, wherein maybe, for example, people just working for their living. If, for example, someone employ me and I know the system, certain things supposed to be set up properly in the system and say, okay,
And
I can't say anything, but I would just have to work with it. What I'm doing, let me just look for my living.
That's what I say, Mark. That's one of the point because corruption actually, it shortages and undermine the growth and development of given society, a growing society.
Yeah.
Okay. Individual for future leadership, those who want to come aboard to say, I want to serve within my country to serve benchmark, to build a system. All right. We welcome corruption and then it shortages our system or what we have brought on board, to fuse or to infuse within other people who met there, right? So what can we do now is let us forget about it too much, lavishing praises on people who think they can work and they'll be more vigorous, and be enthusiastic, and implementing system that we.
Can we say that, for example, let's shame those who are corrupt people?
Bring them to
celebrating those King Kongs.
You don't need to celebrate them in a way that waste will still be hidden under the carpet. You need to celebrate them in a way that they will remember that they have sinned. The Bible makes me to understand that Satan cannot cause you to sin, but because of your own iniquity, because of your own attitude that have caused you to sin, Satan cannot make you to feel inferior all the time or make you to feel that you are with Satan and you're bound to take advice or authority from Satan or whatever Satan says to you or the devil says to you. You are bound to listen and take information or take quote unquote word from the devil. The devil itself cannot force you to do whatever he wants you to do. So if my dad came to me and said, Calvin Greg, you have to sign for this thing, I tell him I resign from your job.
Definitely
nothing will happen to me.
But again, one will say, but how can I do this? I need to get my late thing.
Why is it I'm taking instruction for you, man? But the instruction that is not right, I should not take it. The instruction that will bring disgrace or that will bring dishonestness to public trust, I should not adhere to that information or that instruction. All right, I should not bow down to such instruction that will make people to look at me ugly, or that when I'm walking tomorrow, I will not have any face no more. That is what we say, man. Let my left be free of corruption. Let me do the right thing into the governing system. Let my left be free of certain things. I should not bow down to anybody that will tell me, say, if you cannot do this, then you cannot work with me. Let my name be set as an example that today when I leave or when shall I be gone, that's somebody make example of me that said, Calvin was there and Calvin did this. Calvin was there and Calvin stand tall and Calvin never saw this happening. That is an example of corruption. We talk about anti-corruption now. My name should be part of those anti-corrupt, people who make, a history in life. I should not be there to listen to you as a king or as a leader that whatever you say should be the final. I will not subscribe to such.
Okay, listeners, if you just joined us, you're watching Liberia Public Radio Television live from our studio in Monrovia. And of course, we want to say good afternoon or good evening wherever you are watching us this hour. It's 5:52 p.m. in Monrovia, and of course, 1:52 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. Rhode Island, where our New England Bureau is based. We want to say thank you for joining us wherever you are. We're discussing issues of national concern, issues that have to do with the growth and development of our country, Mama Liberia. We are discussing it right here on Liberia Public Radio. So just keep tuned as we take a quick break. If you wish to participate, we just have a few more minutes to go. If you wish to participate, this is the number on the screen. On the screen there, you can just call that number, and we will definitely usher in your call. Let's see. Well, we can take a break to be right back. Liberia Public Radio.
Have you heard the news? Well, worry no more. Carson's photo and video production has been providing elegant weddings, conventions, and birthday videographic for the Liberian communities since 2006, paying attention to detail and emotion throughout the day, and taking time in the editing process to create a unique video you will want to watch with family members, friends, and future generations, shooting quietly and professionally, and without distracting you or your guests is vital. For more information, please contact us at 484-786-3337. That's 484-786-3337, or we can also be reached at www.cousinphotovideoproduction.com. Please tell Cousin Photo and Video Production that Asheville the Giant Golly sent.
Ambake unyon weo.
Di bo nyon jende, ka wa ti ke nyon la. Zan da ya yok ma lo nyon ti. Ya yo ta won yo le yo ko po ya o yo.
Na nyon we.
Di bo nyon jende, si bo ni ya yok ma lo nyon ti.
Oh, nyon so asran di ti. Men le dum la. We ole.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
For that,
Sorry for that. We were to be taking some break, but
our
audio here or our
commercial
commercial trying to trick
us.
us. So want to say thank you for
joining
joining
us,
us.
for rejoining us.
This is
Liberia
Liberia
Public
Public
Radio
Radio Television,
broadcasting to you from Monrovia. Wherever you are watching us,
I
we
want
want
to
to
say
thank
thank
you
you
for
for
joining
joining the conversation. My name is Mark. My colleague
Calvin
Calvin Gray
Grace
is also here from Studio B.
and together we have been talking the issue of corruption in Liberia.
We're discussing corruption. We're discussing the
current
current
goals
goals
to
to
help
help
workers
workers
in
in
the
the
country
country
are
are
on,
on,
and
and
also
also
the
the
issue
issue
of
of integrity, the
impunity
impunity
rather,
rather,
the several
several
civil
civil
society
society
organizations
organizations
and
and
human
human
rights
rights
advocate
advocate
groups
groups
have
have
called on
called
the
on the
president
president
to
to
see
see
to
to
it
it
that
that
the
the
war
war
crimes
crimes
code
code
establishment in
establishment in
Liberia
Liberia
is
is
implemented.
implemented.
So
So
these
these
are
are
some of
some
the
of the
issues
issues
we've
we've
been
been
discussing. If
discussing.
you
If you
wish to
wish to
participate,
participate,
we
we
just
just
have
have
4 more
4 more
minutes to
minutes to
go.
go.
If
If
you
you
wish
wish
to
to
participate,
participate,
you
you
can
can
see
see
the
the
numbers
numbers
there
there
on
on
your
your
screen,
screen,
and so
so
you
you
can
can
participate
participate
if
if
you
you
wish.
wish.
That's
That's
the
the
number
number
on
on
the
the
screen
screen
there.
there.
Today our program Talent Live was not able to be aired due to some technical hitch up from our studio here later on today.
Today,
But
but
we
we're
hoping that
hoping that
next
next
week
week,
Talent
Talent
Live
Live
will
will
be
be
here. But we're gonna climax this with for the issue of electoral violence, having talking of people. Uh, Let me just bring
bring
you
you
an
an
image
image
here
here
where
where
people
people
have
have
been
been
struck
struck
in
in
the
the
country.
country.
Uh, as you
As you
can
can
see
see
that
that
image
image
on the
on the
screen,
screen,
people
people
have
have
been.
been.
This
This
happened
happened
actually
actually when
in
in
somewhere
somewhere
in
in
Piedmont
Piedmont
County,
County, where some officials, some should I say unscrupulous politicians, quote unquote politicians, who want to take power by all costs, have struck some citizens from different locales and carried them to their location with the aim of they voting for them, Kevin. This is very serious. This is becoming very much serious.
We need to be very careful, Mark. Election is not war.
Yeah.
For our democracy, we have had so many forms of elections, and it's time that we put into those forms of elections are leading the country into a chaos. If we are Liberians and we love each other, and we have the country, at heart, we should reduce our vocals relative to politics, and see the best thing that we can implement to see the country on the right trajectory. Quote unquote, or allegedly trucking people from one point to another, I didn't see it as a good leadership, because we're talking about transparency. All right, so transparency and accountability.
It's not part of corruption, because the election
so
law
part of the corruption. I just wanted to
against that.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk something about anti-corruption, strategies.
Yes.
Before that,
We can just
go
conclude
to
with
that.
We can conclude with that.
The anti-corruption strategies, in education can make us to carry this even through our education, system as well. We should prioritize this. The anti-corruption strategies is like risks and mitigation, right? In our education can make use of transparency promoting tools. Right? We can use this. We can look at the RCTs, the participatory, forms of that. That is budgeting public expenditure, tracking surveys and social adults. Those are issues, key issues that we need to, welcome into our system. With that, we can strengthen it. All right. We can also come up with monitoring and evaluation, and learning, should be built into the anti-corruption, reforms, so that measures can be adapted to counting or combating some of these issues about our system. And lastly, we can even conclude on value integrity. That's what you said earlier, Ma. I just brought in this in so we can know what has been happening in our system, before we can.
So all of that requires some level of
leadership. Yeah, a leadership. Best leader. We're looking at a competent leader, not just competent leader, but a leader who will analyze. A leader that will see the good as the good, not the wrong as the good. All right. That kind of leader will see the error into whatever that has been, training our system to be a massive one. All right. So we can come out to say yes. With all of this, we can work it up. All right. And anti-corruption education in school, it should circulate.
I'm told that some institutions have already started the practice.
Very well.
I'm told that Mr. John Colley, who is the CEO of Liberian Media Democratic Initiative, has started similar things in some of the schools.
Very good. So that's going to help us, Ma. When the students themselves are practicing, because these are main points that we're looking at. This is we can call this one corruption in education. All right. When the schools themselves, coming up to educate the students on how to practice anti-corruption. All right, that alone, even before the student should have graduated, something is in the mind already that yes, corruption is not good. Corruption is a killer disease. Corruption is not something that I can welcome in my home, in my school, and even in the public. So we should lead them, and we should be led with some of this education that will lead our people into anti-corruption, so that our culture can be corruption free. Then to the issue about trucking people,
which is very much serious.
That is a serious problem we have right now. It is alleged. Well, I'm not following.
It's leading to people getting injured.
People who are involved into such.
This fellow that is just on our TV screen, and he fell prey to the issue of trucking, because some people who have left their original place of voting and then go to another country, they have been heavily resisted. As a result, there have been some tension.
This is a system. I mean, the tension that we want to evolve. people within Montserrat. We have other people in the legal country, right? Yes, it is true, but while others were in, Lofa, they are now moved, into Monrovia.
Yeah.
Predicated upon that, they are eligible to register and to vote
Into a new location.
into a new location. I would say it's not a bad one,
But the way in which
it 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 it
the way in which
it will
it is
create
done,
it will
that's a
create
problem.
it will create a sound that somebody may say somebody wants for other people to come in a system, all right, to get a vote. I don't want to plead the honor whether who win or who not. But the issue of trucking is what we're discussing here.
Yeah.
People coming from one system or from one location to another location to come and register, and it's not the number of inhabitants in our district or in our county. Why must you add the number of people? We did our census, all right, and we know the total number of person from Montserrat, and we know the total amount of person. You may not know the exact, all right, but we know if we did our census, and for instance we had about 20,000 inhabitants within Montserrat. All right, I assume it right.
That's a 1.5 million.
Or 1.5 million, into Montserrat. And then when you vote there, all right, upon casting your vote for we the electors, all right, and then I just trying to let the person and we the electors, all right, even election commission result come away with 2.5 million people or 1.5 million. Forecast.
I mean, it's going to be like.
How do you see this?
It's going to be like the election of 1927.
How do you see this?
Again, book of record.
Election. How do you see transparency into election? That you taking somebody from another location to come into my area to register or to vote because you want to win election. I'm not saying somebody is doing it, but you that are involved with this. I'm calling on you now. I am calling on you as a Liberian to desist. Let us avoid chaos with this electionary processes that we have started. Yeah. Liberia is what we have for now. Yeah. If we continue to engage ourselves into chaos, we will not grow. The international community are going to look. Is going to look at us as a country that is not ready for the. The international community is going to look at us as a country that is still wanting for war, and we are not wanting for war. We are not going back to the old days. Okay. We are going somewhere now that our country will be stable. So those that are involved with trucking people from one country to another, let us desist and let bring transparency into
it. They have to technically desist from that. Calvin Gray, my colleague, wants to thank you very much. Is there any other thing that you wish to add up?
Well, I wish all Liberians, those who lost their voter cards, vote wisely, know who is a leader, know who is the right person, all right, that you will bring back to the table to serve. All right, that will bring the best thing that you want for your country, for your district, and for your country at large. So if you're voting, don't vote for the corporates that is coming to you.
Yeah,
don't vote for the words that the person will say to you, but vote based on your own judgment. Yeah. What have you experienced from one party to another party that are encouraging you to vote for an individual? You have to vote wisely, that the country or the total will not shield you later or tomorrow, that they will take it to be the father that never set the example or never prepared the table before me in the presence of my enemy. So you should be that wild father now, to set the children into an electionary process that will lead them to a transparency that tomorrow when they come out, they will say this is what my people did. So my side need to follow the same pattern. Thank you so much, Martha, and thank to our viewers from the diaspora and those of you in Liberia. Thanks a lot.
Calvin Gray is our colleague here, is one of our colleagues here at Liberia Public Radio National Office in Monrovia. We want to say thank you ever so much for watching. My name is Mark. Hopefully tomorrow I'm going to be out of here for some days. For howbeit, we're going to be in line. We're going to be ensuring that we're continuing here from Liberia. So thanks ever so much for watching. Thanks to our colleagues in the U.S. also, Mr. Francis Janso. We're going to continue with the rest of the day's broadcast from our New England Bureau in the U.S. Thanks ever so much for watching. Liberia Public Radio is a radio station for everyone. do promotion, we do educational stuff, we do so many other issues that we wish you can come and do business with us and you will never regret.